the game, cause see the boxing voice.
Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go.
I'm here with the coach, Jonathan. Coachman, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Doing great. Day before the big fight here in Vegas. What brings you in?
I'm really excited. This will be my first time working with Showtime.
Okay.
I'll be hosting the pre-show and doing some content there. But in the last few months, I've really got into boxing with all the other things that I'm doing after leaving ESPN, living on the West Coast now. So coming to Vegas for work is easy. It's 45 minutes, but I love boxing. I love the sport, and I'm just excited that Showtime wants to have me, and then we've been working with some other companies as well, but I'll be doing a lot of Showtime this year.
Now, not with ESPN anymore, but you are no stranger to combat sports.
Yeah.
WWE for so long. I remember being a little kid watching you on there, so it's great to be here with you.
Cool.
What do you think of the main event Saturday night, Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner?
There are very few guys still in this business, and boxing is really taking a huge uptick again now. I mean, so many places are airing at Fox, Showtime, DAZN, and there are very few guys that can be main eventers, that can carry a pay-per-view, and Manny Pacquiao for years has been a big-time name. So there's always going to be naysayers that want to find a way to criticize. I'm not that way. I choose, if I'm going to spend my time, you're going to spend your time, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to look at the positives, and these are two guys that are world-class fighters, and I think that this matchup is so cool because you have one guy that is on the end of his career. Can he still have a couple more great performances? And then you've got a guy in Adrian Broner who has all the talent in the world, but he can't seem to get out of his own way outside of the ring. So for those reasons, I think it's going to be exciting to see what happens on Saturday night.
Now, obviously, there's a ton of fights here in Vegas, but very few have the A-list celebrities ringside.
Yeah.
This will be one. Pacquiao has an entire country behind him. The Philippines have always and continue to support him. I mean, doors don't open for the weigh-in for another 2 hours. There's already 300 people lined up outside waiting to get in. And Adrian Broner, like Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people come to watch him lose, right?
Right.
A lot of people don't really care for him, and they want to see him lose, but they still come. They still come, and being who he is, he brings out the A-list celebrities, a lot of your artists, a lot of your actors, your athletes. Big event here in Vegas. I mean, Showtime had to bring you out for it.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's all that needs to be said right there. But the reason the stars come here, and now that I live in LA, I'm around them quite a bit, I guess. And it's an easy flight, it's an easy trip. And until I lived out here, I didn't understand how easy it was. But here's the thing, we all love stars, and we all love guys that can bring it. And I think Conor McGregor said it best recently, that he doesn't care if anybody loves him, he doesn't care if everybody hates him, but everybody's talking about him. And that's what all these fighters, and Adrian Broner, I think he gets it, that he understands that if people want to come see him lose, then it doesn't matter who's paying. If this guy wants to see him win and pay his $70, and this person wants to see him lose and pay his $70, you're still getting their $70.
Right.
And that's the key in the combat world is are you getting them to buy the fight? Are you selling the fight to the point where you get enough people to want to buy it? I think these two guys can certainly get a really good number Saturday night. I really do, because I don't think people know what's going to happen, but also there's some really good fights on the undercard too, and I think that's going to help a lot.
What fight intrigues you the most on the undercard? Because me personally, I'm excited. I'm stoked for the undercard. From the prospects to the title fights on the pay-per-view, which fight would you say?
I'm anxious to see Marcus Brown, because he's been, sorry about that.
No,
just lost my train of thought.
Marcus Brown.
Yeah, oh, there we go, Marcus Brown. So when I look at all these, and some of these are going to be televised, some of these aren't, but to me, seeing Jack and Marcus Brown, because these are two guys that have fought on bigger undercards as well, and it's always fun to see who the undercard is going to be because of the relationship with a Manny Pacquiao or the relationship with a Floyd Mayweather. And the fact that there's some Mayweather guys on this card, to me, that should be a little bit of a red light for what could be coming afterwards, because it tells me that Manny and Floyd are in a good place because they're working together. So to me, Jack and Brown is the other one I'm really looking forward to. But the 4 or 5, I think it's 4 that will air live on the pay-per-view.
Right. Yep.
And all 4 of them are going to be really, really good fights.
Right. Now, Badu Jack, Marcus Brown, very entertaining. Badu Jack's been here before. I mean, he fought on the Mayweather-McGregor pay-per-view. He fought on Mayweather-Pacquiao. He fought on Mayweather-Berto. So he's no stranger, 2-division world champion, extremely humble guy. And yesterday at the press conference, you know, they had some words, and the teams had some words. They had to be separated. So extremely intrigued to see how that one plays out.
Yes, and guess what? If that video plays virally around the world, that's going to sell pay-per-views.
And
I'm not saying it was staged. I don't know. I was flying in yesterday. What I do know is in the fight game, in the combat game, I don't want people shaking hands until it's all said and done. I want to know, because I can dislike somebody heading into a fight and then respect them after the fight.
Absolutely.
But if you say something about me, I need a way to stimulate myself to really get in there and hate you for 36 minutes. But I don't hate any human being, but I need to hate you for that length of time. And fighters that are able to do that and harness the emotions, those are fighters that become successful and they become big-time stars.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw Floyd Mayweather time and time again be able to do it to his opponents and bring out the best in his opponents, and you know, they still fell short, but that's why he was able to sell and become so successful.
That's right. Floyd Mayweather, whether you like him or whether you don't like him, is a bona fide genius when it comes to the fight game. I tell people all the time, learning to make money in this world is a very difficult thing to do.
Absolutely.
And nobody did it or does it better than Floyd does. And he shows up at the right places. He's just enough of a baby face that enough people like him, but he understands that he plays the role of the villain, the heel, very, very well, and he embraces that. He embraces that. I've been around him WrestleMania in 2008, and I've told people a lot, he surprised all of us with his professionalism, with how much he put into it. He had a no-holds-barred match against the Big Show, who's 500 pounds, and he put everything he had into it, and I enjoyed working with him. And so that's the Floyd that I know. That's a Floyd that I know, and he got a good chunk of change for it too.
Absolutely. I mean, extremely smart businessman.
Oh yeah.
Businessman. I mean, when you hear his promotional company's motto, you know, Mayweather Promotions, you know, the leader in sports and entertainment. We just saw him have an exhibition in Japan New Year's Eve, $9 million for like 2 minutes. Blows my mind. Yesterday, there was a Mayweather Promotions card, some of his up-and-coming fighters here at the MGM, talking to his CEO, Leonard Ellerby. I'm like, where's Floyd? He was in Saudi Arabia closing a business deal, and he's flying in from Saudi Arabia for the fight tomorrow night.
He understands supply and demand. He's not an accountant. He's not a doctor. He understands that in this world, he is the guy. He is the man. And will continue to be as long as he wants to be.
Now, lastly, just to wrap it up, since we are talking on Floyd, everybody has criticized himself and has criticized Adrian Broner. Now, Floyd obviously 50-0. Adrian has 3 defeats, still a 4-division world champion. Now, the point I do want to bring up is the following. When you talk about your big stars in boxing that sell the pay-per-views and that sell the seats, you're talking about the Manny Pacquiaos, the Canelo Alvarez's, Miguel Cotto at a point in time. But when it comes to Americans, American boxers, it almost seems as if it doesn't matter how talented you are, if you're not the villain, you're not selling.
Well, I don't know if it's not the villain you're not selling. I think it's a matter of understanding how to be the villain, and that's where, because I talk to coaches and managers all the time. After we have fighter meetings, I'll pull them aside and be like, listen, you need to teach your guy or girl how to bring the entertainment value. You just brought up sports and entertainment. A lot of fighters forget about B, and they just focus on A. Well, guess what? There's not a weekend this year, not one weekend, but there's not a fight card somewhere with somebody, right? So how do you differentiate yourself when there's 52 weeks or 50 weeks of fights? Well, you got to have the entertainment value. You got to bring it. You got to learn how to talk. You right? And a lot of fighters don't know how to do it. First of all, they don't have anybody to teach them. And I told the UFC years ago that Dana White should bring me in just to work with the fighters and teach them how to talk and sell themselves as a heel or as a babyface. And nobody works with these guys. And I used to do that years ago. I don't have time to do it anymore with the wrestlers. But to me, that's a very important aspect of anybody's career, is learning how to sell yourself and make it entertainment until you step inside the squared circle. And once you get in, then it becomes sport. But until then, it's entertainment, and that's where the two marry.
Absolutely, it's crazy. Former world champion Robert Easter, he signed to About Billions to Broner's promotional company. I saw him earlier this week at the press conference, asked him for an interview, and he was so hesitant. And Kelly Swanson from Swanson, she was like, no, do it, because you never do interviews. And you know, and that's that entertainment aspect, because I put the interview out there, it did way better than expected, and it's because people don't see much from it because a lot of the fighters don't know how to talk.
That's exactly right. And you've got to, even if you don't feel comfortable, especially for the fighters who aren't from the United States that don't speak English very well, you have to practice, because your bottom line depends on it.
Of course.
And if you don't understand that, then you're missing the boat. And a lot of fighters simply do not understand it, which is unfortunate. But I think now, in 2019, you're going to see a lot more people working in camps that strictly their job is to help the fighter get themselves over however they need to do it.
And with social media, you think that, I mean, it's way easier now than it would have been 20 years ago. But yet so many fighters still have that problem.
You're exactly right. It's so easy to get yourself out there, whether by yourself or through interviews with yourself or any of us, right?
Of course.
But you've got to put in the effort. You got to be willing to do it. You got to take the time. And it doesn't take that long to do a few interviews or post a few things on social media. It really doesn't. Just a lot of people don't want to take the time, which is unfortunate.
The coach, great speaking with you.
My
truly
man,
appreciate
enjoy
your
the
time.
fight.
Thank you.
All right.
What is up, TBV family? Yes, YouTube has been cutting funding to their channels as of late, and with net neutrality going through its process, the internet is changing. If you want to keep your favorite channel intact, coming up with tons of content, and plus get hours and hours of extra content, head over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to become a member of the TBV family and help support the channel. Peace.